It's LVO reveals day, and boy is this a mixed bag. Let's look at the 40k, Horus Heresy, and Kill Team stuff. Before we get into it, this video is sponsored by Serious Lights. We'll be hearing more from them later. Let's go straight into the Marmite box, shall we? This is Strike Force Augustus, and it is a mixed bag for me. I do like myself some heavy intercessors. They look grand, love the heavier armour. I do like a close combat Redemptor. Who wouldn't? I mean, I love the Redemptor Dreadnought. I've owned many of them over the years, but there's never been a close combat variant in the rules. Now there is, and he's got a little bit of extra armour and stuff, which we'll take a look at in a moment, so love that. However, I don't think I've disliked a Primaris model this much since they revealed the Impulsor. The Desolation Squad, with their comedy Moe's 5-gun guns. Oh, and also there's like a new lieutenant or something. Anyway, this here Brutalis Redemptor Dreadnought gets all the approval. I mean, I really like the Redemptor. I like close combat dreadnoughts. This is a close combat Redemptor Dreadnought. How could I possibly dislike this? It's all the things that I want, so I have no complaints. It's got a bit of funky extra armour on it, which is interesting. Like extra plates covering the sides of the legs, which I quite like that. That's a fun addition. There's also a little bit of extra armour on the knees as well as on like the front of the shins, so they've definitely kind of tried to beef it up a little bit. And for my money, I think it's worked. Like, this has got quite a significant difference in, like, presence compared to the standard one. I mean, I'm holding one of them, well, in as much as any of mine are standard, I'm holding one of them now. And those extra armour plates, they really do make quite a difference to the overall presence of this thing. It looks bigger and chunkier, and in some ways I think a little bit better proportioned in some areas, so yeah, I had nothing to complain about here for me. I initially wasn't sure about the claws, but actually they are kind of growing on me a fair bit, and I'm loving the built-in bolters on the other version of the fists. Like, that's just, the amount of DACA on that other version is, oh, it's chef's kiss. I also find it super interesting that on the one with the extra guns and with the kind of normal fists as opposed to the claws, they've left part of the armour plating raised up on that one. So you can see there's a gap on the front armour plating. There is a gap in the middle of it. That's what I do to all of mine, because having that bit of armour further up towards the kind of vision slot at the top there makes it look more heavily armoured than it actually is. It's the same amount of armour, it's just moved up slightly, but it changes the proportions a little bit, and it's super interesting to see that on this one. I've also belatedly realised, looking at that the armour plates that go over the shoulders extend further down, so they curve in a little bit at the bottom, which, again, it just adds to the feel of this being even more of a juggernaut than the normal Redemptor is. Absolutely love it. Brilliant. Now, before we get into these, today's video is sponsored by Serious Lights, and this is my personal Serious Light. It's the high definition model, and you might be thinking to yourself, have you gone all black on this because it's sleek and stylish? Or is it because you were worried about accidentally catching it with the airbrush whilst you were base coating yet another tank? Now, I can't comment on the reasons behind my decision, but what I can say is that I've had my Serious Light for a couple of months now, received it in December, and it's already made a massive difference to my painting. I have terrible eyesight. It's not just me being hyperbolic, I genuinely do have very bad eyesight. I require glasses to paint, and before I got this light, I struggled to paint for more than an hour and a half without ending up with fairly severe eye strain and headaches. Since I started using my Serious Light, I've had absolutely no issues with that whatsoever, and can paint pretty much indefinitely without getting eye strain at all. I really can't overstate how nice that is. Now, it's not just the lack of eye strain that's keeping the Serious Light on my desk, it's also because it's really good for mini painting. Between the flexible neck, the swivel joint at the head, the dimmer wheel so that you can control the intensity of the light, and being able to adjust the angle of the beam, I am seeing bits of my models as I paint them that I've never seen before, and it's really motivating me to put a little bit more effort in, because what if someone else notices those bits? Serious Lights come with a 30-day risk-free trial, they're hand-built in Great Britain, and they have a 5-year warranty, so you cannot go wrong with trying these out. Plus, if you use offer code SR210, you'll receive a free compact light with any purchase in the Serious Lights range, with that same offer code also providing free international shipping. There will be a link to Serious Lights in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Big thank you to Serious Lights for sponsoring the video. Let's get back to it. Okay, let's talk about the Desolation Marines. This is not going to be a long section. Because if it was, it would just be me repeating the same phrase over and over again, which is that I do not get along with these at all. And here's the thing, I don't like just going off on one about how bad models are. I don't like looking at someone else's hard work and being like, that sucks. Like, I don't like doing that. That's not a nice feeling to do that, but at the same time, these just do not work for me on any level whatsoever. I think if you changed a couple of things, I'd find them more palatable. But as is, it's just a bit of a mess. Like, the guns look guns? Rocket launchers? Missile launchers? Whatever the hell these are. Like, they are too big and unwieldy for a start. Some of them, it just flat out looks like Flash Gits designed it. You know, like they like saw a squad of Flash Gits and went, I can do that. Like, that's not necessarily an aesthetic I think that works for Space Marines as a whole. But it works even less when they're using just the standard Mark X armour, right? Your standard Primaris armour. You got these big, chunky, top-heavy missile guns that are also apparently belt-fed with multiple power cables going into them, into a power pack that is just the standard size. Why? Why couldn't they have at least beefed that up? You've got... they look completely impractical in every single way, even more so than a lot of Space Marine stuff does. I think if it was these guns with Gravis armour, then it would be more palatable. Then it would work a little bit better. I mean, you know, when you look at the heavy intercessors, they've got a bigger, chunkier bolt rifle, and it works because they are bigger, chunkier boys. These guys have got weapons that are not that much smaller than they are, but they're carrying them like normal guns. If they were going to be having just, you know, normal Mark X Primaris armour, then have them shoulder held, like have them shoulder mounted, like a normal rocket launcher or whatever. Thematically, it's just a complete mess. You got this big old like sensor suite coming out of the top of the power pack, which is fine, but why not have one of the weapons on the power pack? Why not have a bigger power pack? Why feel constrained to use this particular mark of armour with these giant weapons that look like they would overbalance even a Space Marine? Like, I just don't quite get it. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. These do not spark joy. I would chuck them out. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a reveal without another Primaris Lieutenant, but this time it's a flexible Lieutenant kit, so it's just so you can build different loadouts. I mean, it looks fine. I just don't care about Primaris Lieutenants anymore. How am I meant to... I just don't understand how I'm still supposed to get excited by these, you know? For what it's worth, it looks like a decent flexible kit, so that's something, right? So yeah, this is the Augustus Strike Force. It's a real mixed bag. Now, I think it's time we moved on to something far more exciting, because we have a new Kill Team box, of course, but this time round, it's the Arbites. Arbites, we've already covered this. I'm going to say Arbites because it sounds better. I don't care if it's wrong. We finally have these guys. We finally have them. They have arrived. They have models and everything. I'm so happy. Like, I'm really genuinely so happy about this. This is the Exaction Squad, and they are pretty much everything that I wanted, to be honest. Straight up Judge Dredd-esque looking maniacs, which... I mean, let's be honest, we know that there's a distinct similarity there. Also, the dude who's holding the manacles, he's got some sort of, like, leather hood over his helmet. What is happening there? You can't walk around with shackles and a leather hood and not have people make assumptions about what you enjoy in private, alright? I'm just saying. I absolutely love the armour on these guys. Like, it's shaped really, really well. You can see the buckles along the sides, which is a really nice touch. There's a good amount of accessories going on, but not too much. Like, it's not like clouding the model or anything. I love that you can see the uniform under the breastplate. Like, there's just so many really cool little touches on these. The fact that you've got one larger, like, chunkier shoulder pad on one side that is then buckled to the breastplate and you can see where it's attached. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Also, they've got a good doggo. So that's... you know, bonus points for a good doggo. Got some really nice poses as well. Some really nice power poses going on. I'm not sure about the hat on the lad with the loudspeaker, to be honest. I'm not 100% convinced on that. But the actual, like, loudspeaker servitor thing itself, that is badass. Look at it. Big old eagle sculpture blasting out orders and commands to get down or get shot. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love that. I want these guys to have a vehicle that is basically that eagle, but on tracks. That's what I want, really. Is it likely? Probably not. Would I buy it if it was available? 100% yes. Oh, I could really sit here all day just cycling through these images. There is not a single model that I don't like. The only thing I'm not sure about is that dude, that one dude, his hat. That's it. Everything else, I'm in, 100% in. They just look absolutely fantastic. Oh, also, the like 3-lens mask, like half helm on that guy, that is fantastic. Absolutely can't get enough. Really, really want these. Really, really want them. I really like as well that they can be built for Kill Team, or you can build them for 40k. I predict a sudden upswing in inquisitorial parties once this kit comes out, to be honest, because that's what I'm going to do. And I bet I'm not the only one. Now, we also have a Cabalite squad against them, and this comes with an upgrade sprue, so there's more options to build specialists and stuff. I mean, this is already a great-looking kit, and there's a lot of extras by the look of it. Like, there's quite a bit of extra stuff going on here. It already looked good. More options is just going to make it better. I also really like the colour scheme they've gone for these. Really like it. That kind of, like, pale lime green hair off that helm, along with the glowing eyes and faceplate. Like, that's quality. I love that combo. It's a good-looking squad, for sure. Since this is part of the Gallo Dark season for Kill Team, this is an expansion to that, so more walls, some cool little stations. I really like the kind of monitoring pad where you've got like a 3D representation of the actual board itself. Like, that's really fun. It's good. This is a good one. I'm happy with this. We also had the Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer show up. This was not a surprise, to be honest. I'm not at all surprised, because I'm sure... Did we see the silhouette of this in the little preview they did at the start of the year? I can't remember. Either way, I was waiting for it because this is the same chassis as the Spartan, which is the same chassis as the Typhon, and so I just assumed this would show up sooner or later. As soon as we got the Typhon, I just thought, well, there's no way they're going to leave this out. It is really nice to see in plastic, though. Again, whatever makes these kits more approachable, easier to get hold of, I'm all in for that. It looks fantastic, which of course it would, because all of the Spartan chassis kits look fantastic, because they are giant, chunky, girthy, beefy tanks. I admittedly can't remember whether that kind of housing for the gun extends past the tracks on the resin version. I'm assuming it probably does. It does look a little bit off. I think that could do with something along the inside of it, just to make that gap not as present, but overall, it's the Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer in plastic. I'm not going to complain about that. It'd be weird to complain about it. It's a giant tank with a giant gun, and I'm me, and I love giant tanks with giant guns. I do like that side profile shot as well. That's nice. That's really nice. Also, actually, from that side profile, that bit that looked a bit off from the other angle, that kind of gap between the housing at the front and the track, that looks nowhere near as severe from the side. In fact, it looks like there is something filling that gap from there. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. How could I not be? Now, finally, for the 40k/40k adjacent stuff, we have a box. I was wondering if this would happen, to be honest, because we had Vashtorr announced, we had the new Azriel announced, and of course it's 2 new hero models, so naturally they were probably going to end up in a box fighting each other, because of course. And this is that box, Wrath of the Soulforged King. We've got Vashtorr, we've got 2 Obliterators, we've got the Venom Crawler, and we've got some Cultists. Sure, why not? On the Dark Angel side, we've got some normal Intercessors, and we've got some Deathwing Terminators, which is nice. I mean, the fact they're putting some Firstborn stuff in there is... I'm happy with that, to be honest. A bit more Firstborn rep would be nice. Although if you're doing an infantry-based Dark Angels box, then surely the Deathwing have got to have a bit of a presence, right? To be honest, I'm really not that excited for this, outside of Vashtorr himself. Like, it doesn't feel like the most interesting box set I've ever seen. The Obliterators and the Venom Crawler have been locked into various boxes since they were first shown off. As it stands, you can only buy them together still, so them showing up in this feels like well, we've got these that are on the same sprue, so we can't separate them, so I guess we should just shove them in there. That'd work, right? They look like something Vashtorr would do, yeah, stick them in. Like, it just doesn't feel all that exciting or interesting, to be honest. It's probably not helped by the fact that there's cultists instead of Chaos Space Marines. Like, of all the boxes to put literally only 2 Chaos Space Marines in, why this one? Why would you only put 2 Chaos Space Marines in the form of the Obliterators? Because that's what they started out as. Why would you only put 2 of them in a box which against the Dark Angels? I mean, oh, God. I don't know. They've said, you know, the narrative of this box ties into the 3rd book. It contains missions that will help you recreate this momentous battle. I don't know. To me, I look at that. Doesn't seem particularly momentous, to be honest. I mean, it also seems like Vashtorr could probably kill half of that Dark Angels force by himself, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, that's the 40k/40k adjacent stuff that was revealed at LVO. Is there anything in there that properly tickled your fancy? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you once again to Serious Lights for sponsoring the video. You'll be able to find them via links in the description and in the pinned comment. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, which you can use to support the channel if you would like. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.